The man, the myth, the legend. Dude, it's about time. It took us like 4 episodes in for you to actually be on the show. Wait, first of all, for those of you who don't know, please introduce yourself.
My name is Paul, and I don't know how to introduce myself.
His government name?
What do I say? Yeah, my government name. I used to go by PG. I don't know if you know that.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody used to call me PG. So
first of all, bro, where are we?
We're in Vogue Creatives, baby.
By the time you explain exactly where we are, let me just fix one thing. Keep going, though.
No, go ahead. Go fix your thing.
No, please.
It's a creative studio for all creators. We focus primarily on podcasting for companies, for businesses.
So he is content. Mr. Vogue Creative himself. For those of you who don't know, please, bro, explain to us how this whole place came to be and how we got the gear that pretty much embodies and breathes on the thing that you're watching right now. So how did the whole thing start, bro?
So like anything else in my life, things have just kind of parlayed one thing into the next. So when we originally created the space, it wasn't originally Vogue Creatives. It was my personal office during COVID. Right before COVID, I had sold all my companies, and I needed some place to work, essentially, get out of the house. And this place is 10 minutes from where I work, so it was a great place to keep, not only for me to continue doing the marketing for my current businesses and things like that, but also keep some cars and just some fun stuff. Essentially, it's my office, but it's more of a man cave, I guess.
You've come a long way, bro.
Yeah, and then the more and more we started doing it, a lot of my clients would just say, hey, like, can I use your space for a podcast? Can I use it for this? And so I just said, you know what? Let's just create something out of it. It's a great time.
It's like so raw, and the fact that you kind of just went with the flow, and now you've kind of built this kind of cool hub for not just yourself but for other people. And that's what's cool, because that is what's gonna ignite even more creative ideas and even empower your work. For someone that actually wants a space, would you recommend having a separate space from home? Let's say what made you do the jump from home to like having a separate space for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a separate space between work and life, right? Because especially if you have kids or you have a family, it can seem convenient, but in order to get things actually done, like I could essentially work for 4 hours a day here and be done with my work. But if I were to do that at home, that same workload could take 8 hours. It could take double the amount of time. However, there's an investment in having your own place. It's not cheap, so you have to pay for it. So you have to weigh out the cost, and you have to make enough money to pay for it. But this is a great space here. It's about 5,000 square feet. And it's modular. We can do a whole lot of different things here. We have a kitchen. My previous life was in hospitality, so we gotta shoot some cooking videos or something.
Everything, bro.
So it's a great space just for all the creatives to come in and just create.
And for those who are looking at it, they're like, "Yo, that'd be sick. I want to shoot a podcast or I want to book the space." How can they reach out? How can they do that?
Yeah, they can DM us on Instagram at Vogue Creatives. You could also. Our number's in there, but most people will reach us via Instagram. It's because that's usually where our client lives anyways, because they're creating, business content that's either for Facebook or for Instagram. So a DM is the easiest thing to do.
Couple minutes away from the city, too.
Oh, my gosh. We're right off every major expressway. We're 10, 15 minutes from Naperville, one direction. We're 10, 15 minutes from Oak Brook, right? The other direction, and then we're literally right off the major expressways.
It's so cool, bro, because like you essentially build it what would be your dream workspace, and now it's kind of become like this hub for a lot of creators. So, bro, how did it even start? Because you're very selfless, and the person you are is very giving. How did you? Because I'm sure you've gone through like some pros and cons of your career. You've got wisdom. You got a lot of like people that, there's friction, or you got pretty much a lot of wisdom. You've seen everything. People at their best, people at their worst. So from all the experience, bro, what has been like the top advice you'd give for people that are just getting their feet wet into entrepreneurship, just getting, into the entire space? What are like the best things that you've learned through your entire career, and someone that's watching this right now who'd hopefully want to like book or even just want a studio by themselves and or also just started their entrepreneur journey? What advice do you have for them, bro?
I think it's something as a reason why we work so well together too, because it's a core belief of mine. And I don't think I've ever told you this, but what you preach is don't overthink it, right? So whether it's in business or if it's actually something you want to build, just do, right? Just do, just try it, just fail, just take that first step. Everything is so easy now. Everything is in your pocket on your phone. So if you don't have the answers, it's even easier now with AI and things of that nature. There's really no excuse. I think we're always looking for a reason to overcomplicate things. And the the paralysis of analysis is a real thing. I say that right? I'm dyslexic. Is it analysis paralysis? It's the other way around. Yeah, I'm dyslexic and ADHD.
Yeah,
so I'm
crazy.
Always like mixing my stuff
I don't know how
up.
you do, bro. I really don't. Like, and on top of that, you also look after us, bro. You really just went dinner. Like, thank you for that, bro. I'm really appreciative of people that, you know, you didn't have to. Like, at the end of the day, it's just we kind of just play by ear, and if it happens, like, guys, let's go get some food or something. And that's what's cool, right? Like, being people around you that get it. But with that, you're also very giving with your family. You have an entire family, and bro, that is cool to see. Someone that like has gone through everything, has a family, yet also has time for his work and people that he works with. How do you do it, bro? What's the secret sauce? And yeah, you have a really giving family too. Like, it's not just like one or two kids. You have like a very well off.
Yeah, I have 7 kids, and everyone is always really surprised to hear that. My oldest is 24. My youngest is 3. I think I've told you this before too. Like in my own home, when I'm disciplining my children, I'll feel like I have multiple personalities because you discipline your older children different than you might discipline, you know, your 3-year-old or even like genders, right? So like my 5-year-old son, being a boy, I'm raising him to be a young man, and not that I'm saying like I'm creating a little soldier, but I would discipline him different as he grows older, as I have with my older boys, than I would even like my daughters. If my daughters are up to something, you know, like, hey, you guys could live with me forever, but hey, sons, you guys got to figure out what we're going to do by the time you're 18, 21, so you can take care of yourself and take care of your future family. So it's a different mindset around my kids and how you raise them. There's no secret sauce to raising a family. It's as with anything else. It comes with experience. It comes with having a tremendous amount of patience and learning from, you know, your mistakes as a parent, or maybe even from your own parents. You know, no one's perfect, so and no relationship is perfect. So it can be difficult at times, but you have to remember the purpose of why you're doing something, right? So like kids will always come up to me and they're funny because they'll be, you know, at the gas station and they'll be, hey sir, what do you do for a living? Right now I always tell the kids, I say, hey, it's not what I do, it's why I do what I do for a living. You're asking the wrong question. If you see somebody that you want to figure out what they do or you think they're successful, don't ask them what they do. Ask them why they do it. Because you could be a very successful garbage person. You could be a very successful, you know, if you own a little restaurant or something, you could be a successful, you know, at anything you do. It's just, what's the purpose? Why are you doing it? What's motivating you?
And mind you, too, like for those of you who don't know, he literally just pulled up in McLaren. You're very... You have a business that also runs with cars, so you get to drive a lot of these cool cars, and you've driven all of them at this point, right? So it's what's cool. Yeah. You get like stopped by these people that really want to know exactly what you do and who you are, et cetera, et cetera. But you've seen it all, bro. You've seen the cars, the houses, the different locations, travel, family. How do you find your next North Star? I
think that comes through pain. It's an odd answer, but when you begin to achieve and you pass certain thresholds in life, obviously it's not always a smooth ride. So you face traffic, you face roadblocks, you face potholes, you face car accidents, you face literally in real life carjackings, right? Like I've faced that in real life too, and it's kind of like you learn how to deal with these things along the way, and you figure out what the next move is, just like you're on the expressway. Do I get off here? Should I do this? Should I drive around that car? Decision-making is probably the one, if there is sauce that I would give, is be a very quick person to make a decision. Don't sit on a decision for a very long time. We just had dinner. I don't know if you guys notice this, how quickly I am to order. The server comes, I already know what we want, we'll order it. I used to do this with people that I might hire. With AI now, I don't have to have many employees. I love that. But before, when I had a lot of employees, if there was somebody like key person, I would love to see how fast I would take them out to lunch. Or that was the initial meeting. And I would actually observe how long it took them to order. I would never tell them. I would just wait and see how long it took them. I knew what I wanted from the minute I sat down, you know. I knew what I wanted, you know. I need to get things going. It's not a matter of being in a rush. It's just being efficient and being decisive, right? Being decisive in your decision making. So being able to make decisions very quickly is definitely something that will benefit you, because the faster you can make decisions, the faster you'll be able to make progress, right? So, and they're not all good decisions, but at least you didn't spend 3 months making that same decision you would have made and it ended up being a bad decision because now you're 3 months ahead of that bad decision. So you have to learn how to make decisions quickly.
You've had a lot of employees.
Yeah.
Someone that's watching this right now that is looking to hire and looking to build a team. How do you do it, bro? For someone that's done so much in their career and has had well off 50, 40 people plus?
Yeah. Over my life. So my previous companies, we had well over, 40, 50 employees at any given time, with payroll every other week. And that's the thing that a lot of these young kids who are starting their companies, or even if you're older, I don't want to segregate them and say that it's only the young ones, but even, the people who are starting their companies earlier, and especially if you have employees, you don't realize that you're the last one to get paid. You really have to understand that when you start a company, you are the last person to get paid. Your employees get paid first, the government gets paid first, vendors get paid first, your landlord gets paid first, the utility company gets paid first, because if you don't pay any of those people, you won't be able to operate your company. Your employees will leave you. They'll turn off your lights. The landlord will kick you out. Like, you have to pay those things. So as a business owner, you're the last person to get paid. So you get to keep all the leftover. So the name of the game is making sure that you're doing a good enough job at this game. So there's a lot of leftover for you to keep. And so that could be difficult in the beginning because if you don't know how to do all that, you could easily go out of business quickly.
How do you recruit good people, man? What are like the top, like if someone's looking to hire somebody, top 3 traits? I know you said about the being decisive and being able to make decision, being efficient. Mm-hmm. What are like other top 3 like technical things that you can actually do to analyze somebody and seeing if there's a good fit for whatever you're going to do?
Well, I think first we all do this naturally.
Mm-hmm.
We all do this naturally. You kind of know this from the first time you meet someone, but that's why it's so important for you yourself to be very well connected with yourself so you can understand people's energy, so to speak. So I could immediately tell someone's energy without them even saying a word. So like in the restaurant business, when I used to be in the restaurant business, when someone would meet me for the first time and I was hiring them, you could automatically sense something from them, and you have to be very in tune with what you're sensing, and you have to trust your gut on that. And maybe it's nervousness from the other person, so you have to ask questions to figure out, oh, maybe they're just nervous, they really need this job, I don't know their personal life, maybe they're sleeping in their car, and they really need this in order to live, and so they're just, maybe mentally, they're not in a good place. So it's your job as the leader, it's your job as the owner of the company who's hiring, in order to be in a good place yourself so that you can tune into that person, because that person may not be at their best right now, but you can help them be at their best within your organization because everybody's living life. You don't know the stage that somebody's at in their life. Somebody could be in a very bad place in their life and you will never know it. And there have been people that have been in my life and have worked for me that the best ones, I had no idea something really bad was happening because they don't complain. They don't like to complain. Obviously, personal appearance, as much as people, in the world we live in today, might be against that. I don't know why, but how you carry yourself, right? So, like, when I was hiring cooks, the first thing I would look at as they're sitting there at the table with me, talking to me, I would look at their fingernails. A little thing, their fingernails. Because if you're coming to a job interview, the one place where you should be clean and look your best, but you're coming to my job interview with grimy fingernails, you didn't cut them, there's dirt underneath them, and you want to touch my guest food as well as my food as well as everybody else's food, that was a bad sign, right? But if someone came to a job interview and their position was as a cook and I could tell their nails were clipped and they had clean clothes on at least, it doesn't have to be nice clothes, but at least like be somewhat presentable, then I actually had like something to go off of, right? So without them speaking, I already was being communicated to. And so when you're hiring, one of the things you have to pay attention to is everything that they're not saying. Because some of my best hires that I thought were going to be really good because they interviewed really well, they turned out to be crappy employees. They turned out to be really bad employees, but they interviewed well. So you don't know.
So nuance, right?
Yeah.
With different people.
Yeah. So it's more or less being the one common thing, because people always ask me, because I'm in so many different industries, they wonder how I'm in so many. It's the one common factor of people. People. As long as you understand people and you understand how to read people, how to talk to people, how to understand people, you'll be okay.
You're a
be
people
okay.
person.
Yeah, I become. You know, it's interesting. I'm a people person, but in a weird way, I've become less personable than I used to be. Just because, you know, I'm at a phase in my life right now. If I'm being very transparent, I'm at war with some organizations per se and some things. So when you are at war, when you pass a certain threshold, and you're constantly at war, you have to have the stoic ability to be able to deal with that and also be genuine to yourself, because it's not like I could always be like jumping off the wall, happy-go-lucky, because of the fact that 90% of my day, my conversations, you're at war, right? And then the other 10% of the day, you know, I'm going home and I'm playing with my kids, and it's easy to turn it off when I'm with my kids. They make it easy because it's a different.
You keep grounded.
Oh my gosh,
But
yeah.
that comes with
Yeah.
altercations, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
stay too grounded, you kind of start to lose feeling of what the other side looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I say you have to. It takes pain. That's why I said it's an odd answer, because the two things that drive you in life, you know, as the great Tony Robbins says, is either pain or pleasure, right? One of his very first programs that I got when I was in high school, that was the lesson one. That was literally CD1, if kids don't know what a CD is. It's
Just like Drake said too.
shiny thing, yeah.
It's like you can't get too high on your highs, you can't get too low on your lows.
Yeah.
Just maintain that ground.
Yeah, right there in the middle,
So
you have to
yours.
understand what drives you, whether it's love or pain, because pleasure or pain, it's a push and pull. So you have to understand, you know, either A, you're going to do something because you're trying to avoid pain, or B, you want to move towards something because of the love or because of the pleasure it's going to bring you. So you, as a human being, oftentimes we don't take action until it's painful enough, because the pleasure of moving towards it isn't good enough.
You know what they say, bro?
What do they say?
Life is always so sweet back in the day. And it'll always, always, always be the moment right now what we'll look back on the next couple of years. Remember back in the day when we were all single and getting after it and locking in? It'll never be, and I was telling this to Sebastian on the way here while we were driving, it'll never be as sweet as this. This is what we would refer to as the sweet good times.
Yeah.
This will always be the good times.
Yeah.
In the future, who knows where we'll be, but this right now, this moment, this time to grind and go full throttle, this is the moment where you look back at the good times.
It's funny. It's like looking back at your old photos. You know, I'm 43 years old, so I have a lot more old photos than you guys might have. But, you know, it's like when you were 30 and I was looking in the mirror, I was like, man, I wish I was fit like I was 20 again. What happened to my six pack when you were 30? And then you're 35 and you're like, man, I wish I was fit like I was 30. And then you're 43 and you're like, I wish I was fit like I was. You wish you were that fat at 35, but you weren't, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you're always looking back at old pictures.
Looking back.
Yeah, and you're like, man, I wish I was.
It's always
like that.
sweet back then.
Always.
And that's because you never really know exactly what the future holds. But you can compare something to the back. But let's get past the surface level, bro. You know, we talked about your life. You're very well successful, and you've shared some advice for us that we can actually use in our day-to-day lives. Now talk to me about the deeper stuff, man. What do you think is the whole purpose that we live on this planet? You've gotten some wisdom. You've gotten enough, you know, maybe you talked to a couple lizard people back in your day or something. And I think it's cool to have these introspective ideas and visions. Are we in a simulation?
It's a great question. Are we in a simulation? Sometimes I feel like we are in a simulation, especially I mentioned wars that I'm battling right now. When you feel like you have no control over certain things and you've done everything right, and you've always been a good person, and then it seems like the war you're facing is unfair, it seems like you're in a simulation. But I think that the purpose of what we're living is the figuring out, right? So whether it's, and nothing against people who don't have kids as they get older, right? But one of my greatest purposes in life are my kids. They are my place of complete peace. I've heard other parents complain about it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You know, all my kids get along. They're supportive. They love each other. They're very respectful. They take care of each other. They wrestle. They do all the normal things that brothers and sisters will do. They'll bicker a little bit here and there, but for the most part, you know, I'll catch them. You know, the 4 kids that are still in my home right now, I'll catch them in someone's bed cuddling watching a Netflix movie, or, and that ranges from the age of 14 to 3. So it's not like they're all the same age. The 4 that are still in my home are 3, 5, 12, and 14. So, and the 2 older ones are girls, the 2 younger ones are boys. And they love each other to death. And the purpose for me has become more of that. And it's not even the stuff. You get to a certain point where you can, and Jim Carrey said this best. He said something to the effect of, I wish everybody could achieve their dreams. I wish everybody could buy their big house. I wish everybody could drive the fancy car they want and buy all the fancy clothes and all the fancy jewelry that they want, to realize that that's not what everything is about. Because there's only so much stuff you could buy before you get to a certain point, and it's not as thrilling anymore. Not saying that you don't want nice quality things in your life. You do, right? It does help a lot. It does change things a lot. However, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bring any more fulfillment. It's the getting to that point, and then after that, it's like,
that's what they say about dopamine, right?
Yeah.
It's not the actual climax; it's preparing for the climax.
Yeah,
it's not the actual meal. It's getting ready, going to dinner, sitting down, ordering.
Doing it.
It's the process.
Yeah.
That brings you the dopamine, not the actual thing.
Yeah, not the actual thing. The actual things don't make you feel any better.
As fast as it goes up, your dopamine, as fast as it's going to spike down.
Yeah.
So the older I'm getting, bro, the more I'm really starting to realize that things that are worthwhile are the things that are sustainable, and they'll actually keep a sustainable level of dopamine and respect, because, it takes a while, but it also lasts a while. It goes quick, and it goes out quick. Just like trends, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah. The consistency of it, you're mentioning, don't be too high, don't be too low. And I had, there's this one chef I remember when we would look at all the restaurants, we would compare sales numbers, we would compare labor numbers, we compare food costs and things like that. And there was always this one chef in charge of his restaurant who was always really consistent with staying right in the middle, right? He always stayed right in the middle. He never had the best of any specific category, right? He was never best at sales. He never had the best labor percentage. He never had the best food costs. But at the same time, he was never the worst,
bro.
Right? So I said to him, do you do this on purpose? How is it that you're never the best and you're never at the low? He says, yeah. He's like, I try to stay in the middle as much as possible. I said, Luis, why would you want to stay in the middle? He's like, because nobody pays attention to you there. See, when you're at the high, Paul, all you guys always want is that high all the time. Oh, you hit those numbers. Why didn't you do it again? You got the best sales numbers. You had the best labor number. You had the best food costs. Why? How come you can't do it again? You did it last month. Why can't you do it this month? Or if you're at the bottom, you're like, why do you suck? You guys need to do something. You're going to get fired, right? He's like, but Paul, if you're in the middle, nobody pays attention to you in the middle. And the more I live life, I realize you have to shoot for the top, but the most important things that happen are in the middle. The most important things that happen in life
journey
are the mediocre moments that you think are mediocre. Oh, going to your kid's game. Some people might find that important, which is great because it is very important. But some people might think, oh, buying the home is more important than going to my son's soccer game. Nah, buying the home isn't as important. Driving the fancy car isn't as important. Buying the expensive stuff isn't as important. The stuff you're going to remember is the stuff in the middle. It's the games you went to for your kids. It's the piano recital you did. It's the time your daughter knocked on your door at midnight because her boyfriend broke her heart and you don't know how to talk to her. It's the time your 3-year-old son jumped in your bed because he's not feeling so well and his nose is bleeding and you don't know what's going on with him. Because then I just think forward. I'm not there yet, but I think forward to when the home is going to be empty and there's no more chaos. There's no more like, hey, Daddy, I need you. I'm going to think what happened to the middle. Because they're all going to be on with their lives.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah, right? Back in the good old days. They're going to be moved on. They're going to be with their spouse. They're going to be with their own kids. It's never going to be
as sweet as we have it right now.
As right, exactly.
That's crazy,
yeah.
Bro. So you find, to wrap it up, man, we want to make this short, sweet, and concise and digestible for people watching. How do you navigate this life not knowing a lot about what's going to happen after, but also knowing the fact that you were just placed here with not really a mission or purpose, but you do have an internal mission yourself? how do you find that common ground to like ignore all the noise and stay focused on what you do, and always chasing that North Star when there's always going to be another, and there's always going to be another? Like, where do you find the most grounded position? I know it's probably with your fam, but if there's anyone watching this that doesn't have family or that doesn't have anybody that is aligned with what your North Star is and all your goals and ambitions, how do you do it if you were just by yourself and you are this ambitious person, but yet you'll always be kind of battling these inner demons by yourself?
So something I do, Carlos, that people don't know, some do, I am constantly recording video messages of myself on different topics. Not really a journal, but it's meant for my children when they're older. And even right now, if I'm not around, they're private. They're private videos that I've never shared, that I've never given access to anybody. And the reason I tell you this is because we live in a very unique time where, you know, let's say before you needed to really accomplish something astronomically amazing and great in order to be remembered and have any kind of influence on the future. You had to be. It's funny. I picked up my son the other day from school. He's 5, goes to kindergarten, and say, "Hey, buddy, what'd you learn today?" When he got in the car, and most of my kids will just be like, "Nothing," right? My 5-year-old son Carlos, he goes, "I learned about George Washington." I was like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that answer. I was expecting kind of like a nothing kind of answer." But he's like, "George Washington," and I was like, "Oh, oh, cool." He's like, "Yeah, he was a soldier, and he's on the dollar bill." And he was our president. I said, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, but he died." I was like, "Oh, he died." I was like, "Oh." And here's the reason I tell you that story is because George Washington had to do something so significant in life in order for us to be talking about him in 2026. So what does he have anything to do with what I'm answering right now? Is because we live in such a unique time where we all have a phone in our pocket. You don't need to have a creator studio like this with fancy lights and cameras and microphones or whatever, right? But what you can do is document yourself. Because in the future, your great-grandkids, your great-great-grandkids, somebody within your lineage will be able to go back and see you talk about something that maybe they need in their life in that moment. Yeah, they can go watch somebody else's video on their advice on what to do. But watching somebody from our own bloodline, knowing that that person had sacrificed or done something in order for me to be here 100 years from now, the message will resonate and could possibly change the trajectory of your future great-great-great-grandson and their life and the decision that they're making, whether it be in their relationship. It could be a problem they're facing in their marriage. It could be a challenge in their business. It could just be an overall mental health thing. It could be anything. But I do feel like we have a responsibility today to create those type of videos, which you keep in a safe family vault, which could essentially be passed down to generations, which is greater than anything, jewelry, whatever, money, whatever it is. That documentation and handing that down, I think will have such a tremendous impact on your bloodline that it's our responsibility to actually do that. And especially for the men of the household that are leading their families, if you include your wife or whoever else, even your kids, and ask them questions and do things, and you protect that, and you pass that on generationally. Even if your own kids watch that. It doesn't have to be 3 generations from now, Carlos. It could be me sitting down, which I do. I have videos of my 12-year-old daughter when she was 5, and I'm asking her things on a camera, and I'm talking to her. And for her to hear what she had said about that specific thing even now would make an impact. But imagine when she's 30 and she's married and she hears what she had to say about her mommy and daddy or what's important to her in that moment in time in life. She's going to forget what she said when she was 3, 4, 5. So in order to give her the gift of going back in time to understand maybe even herself a little bit better, that's the gift that we owe the people that we love the most. Yes, the ones we bring into this world, but also the ones that are just related to us and our future bloodline. So what we can do right now in order to add purpose and to create more legacy is, I would say, privately record yourself is something you could tangibly do right now. Keep it private. Everybody, likes to put things out publicly. There's good things to put out in public, but then there are certain things that I do think are very sacred that you should start to do, because we all have that power in our pocket on our cell phone, and it doesn't have to be fancy.
There you have it there, man. Some beautiful words of wisdom. You should be president one day.
No.
Paul for president.
No.
But man, those are some beautiful words of wisdom, and it's awesome to hear you literally pour your heart out and soul into your work. It's been awesome. It's inspiring for me, man. And I don't think I've ever told you this, but it's cool to see how you navigate this life and privately yet also publicly, and how you combine both with so much just the energy that you kind of radiate, and you could tell a lot by the aura. There's a lot of things that are unspoken because you can't really like explain them. You can just feel it, and that's cool to know, man. That's something that I always strive for, always in life. But before we go too crazy and are yapping and get all mixed up, anything you want to share to the world watching right now?
Come to Vogue Creatives, create your business podcast, man. It's the future, right? Companies need to know who you are, and what better way to do it than have a conversation like Carlos and I are having right now.
Do it. Also, you don't need it. Like Paul said, he's very, very transparent and honest. You don't need it. But if you have the ability, you have space, you want to shoot something, feel free to come through. And with that, we will leave you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you, Paul, for actually being on camera, bro. Because I know you're a very private person, but you take your chances, bro. So it's cool to finally just have you like share these to the world and share knowledge, bro. Because maybe someone watching this right now, you just changed your perspective. You shifted it. Those are powerful words.
Thank you, Carlos.
All right, broski. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Peace. We go get pizza now.
Yeah, dude, I'm so full.
We just had a burger.